Hi, everyone. It's Alexis Hasselberger here, time management and productivity coach. This week, I want to talk about summer because it is right around the corner. Some of you may already be in it, but for me, my kids get out of school in a couple of weeks. And so we are looking down the barrel of, a summer that is not what we had planned. Everything has been changed. Vacations have been canceled, all the summer camps have been canceled. And so, what are we going to do? And so, I want to just talk about, how can we make the best of a summer that is definitely not what we had planned, a summer where we maybe can't leave the house and where we don't have childcare or summer camps. What can we do? And so a couple of things to think about. One of them is, taking time off is important, even if you can't go anywhere. So if you can take that, week that you had planned to go on vacation and take that as a staycation instead, you know, do some just relaxing around your house, maybe do house projects if you want, but just take time off because that's important anyways, instead of just continuing to work. And quite honestly, with everything going on right now, we probably need some space, and maybe we want some time to actually volunteer or protest or just educate ourselves around racial justice and things like that. So maybe that's the time that we can take off this summer. If you don't want to take a whole week off, that feels weird to just stay at home for a whole week. Then think about taking some long weekends, right? Give yourself some breaks, just even if you're at home, to be able to decompress. And then think about your outdoor space. If we can't go on vacation, if we can't go to the beach, if we can't do all of these things, do you have any outdoor space that you could use to help yourself enjoy the summer weather? So, maybe you have a backyard, you could set up a hammock or just a nice lawn chair. Maybe you don't have a backyard, but maybe you've got a fire escape, right? Could you, set out a couple of outdoor pillows there so that you could enjoy the warmth and the heat from the summer and read a book outside in that way, right? It doesn't really matter what kind of space you have. If there is some space that you have, make that as comfortable and relaxing as possible. Now let's think about kids, right? Our kids are usually at summer camps, at day camps, maybe they're off visiting the grandparents, as my kids were supposed to be doing. There's a lot of things they're usually doing this summer. And they've been inside for a really long time, and they're going to be inside for a little bit longer. So what can we do with our kids to make sure that we can get work done still, but that they can also enjoy a summer as well? So I like to think about this in the age groups of children. So if you've got babies or little kids, this is not going to be very much different than just working from home as we have been in the past, right? And so it really comes down to working in shifts. If you have a co-parent or some other caregiver who's there, partner, spouse, etc., work in shifts. Each of you take a certain portion of the day to be the on-call parent and the other portion of the day to be heads down in your work, because you'll be able to get more done that way, and it'll be much less stressful than trying to juggle, handoff of a baby or a toddler in between meetings, etc. If you've got bigger kids, kids who can read, but they're not able to be completely on their own, maybe elementary school, etc., then you want to think about, how do we set these kids up for success? So thinking about getting, active, having a schedule, a visual schedule that you can make with them so that they're on board with the activities that they're going to be doing, something that's visual so they can see when you'll be available to them and when you won't be. And then plan to spend, 5 minutes or so getting kids set up in an activity before you get, 45 minutes to an hour or so of work. And then repeat that cycle so that you're giving them some undivided attention, you're getting some work done, and then you're repeating. Also do things to set them up for success, like, putting snacks at their height around the kitchen so that they don't have to be asking you a million times a day, I'm hungry, what can I have, etc. And then if you've got older kids, you've got tweens or teens, my kids definitely fall into the tween side of things right now, giving them even more agency, having them figure out, like, what do they want to do this summer? Maybe you work on a list of approved activities with some guidelines, and they set their own schedules. You'll help teach them time management that way. Maybe it's a selection of fun things and a selection of things that are good for their brains or their bodies, and they need to pick certain items to make a full schedule each day. You can also give them projects, right? Using Duolingo to learn a new language, or maybe they can, become a master bread baker, or maybe they can, just cook dinner for the family or lunch once a week or something like that, but giving them a project they can own. And then if your kids are, if you want them to do something with their brains a little bit more, think about maybe doing an anti-racist book club or an anti-racist movie club and helping them engage their friends. In our house, we're definitely doing an anti-racist movie club right now, where just with our family, we're showing our kids movies so that we can talk about race even more in depth. So we started with 13th this weekend, and we will be, continuing to do that. So really engaging your kids in ways that they can really think about what's going on in the world right now and what they can do to affect change. that can be another really great way to use the summer when we can't be doing all the normal things that we would be doing. So I hope that's helpful. And, it's not the summer we planned for, but let's make the best of it.